We are going to be going over how to use student planning to register for your classes. So begin by going to howardccu.edu, clicking on the tools and resources at the top of the page, and then select My HCC. At that point, you will be prompted to log in. Then you'll get into the My HCC student portal where you will select self-service. Once you are in self-service, you may have a notification, possibly about financial aid or something else that you might need to do that would appear at the top of the page. Or if you had already pre-planned sections of courses to register for with an advisor, there would also be a notification about that. So once you're in self-service, if you want to go ahead and plan your courses in order to register, you would select student planning to do that. Just so you know, there is other information within self-service that might be helpful for you. Financial aid is available on here to see what you may need to do for financial aid, as well as student finance. Student finance is where you can view and pay your bill. So we're gonna go into student planning now. Once you're in planning, again, if you already know what you need to register for, or you may have already planned those courses with an advising, you would start by going to plan and register here on the right side of the screen, and you would select plan and register for classes. You want to go to the fall semester. So here on the left, you would arrow over to fall 2020. So as you see here, our student has already some courses planned, but they haven't picked any sections. So if you were in this situation, you would actually need to pick your sections you want to register for before you could register for the sections. So once you've picked your correct term, you would look to see if you already had sections planned for the courses you need to take. And if you didn't, if your courses were already planned but not your sections, you would click View Other Sections to pick your section you wish to register for. If the section is full and it has a wait list, it will notate that at the top of that section. It would say wait list, which means you could add yourself to a wait list, but you would not be able to register for a seat in that course at this time. So here I'm going to select the first section option at the top of the list, and then I could say add section. You get a little notification at the top of the right screen that tells you you have planned your section. And down here at the bottom, because this is an online course, it will not appear in the calendar view up here because it has no set meeting time. So this is not a course with a scheduled Zoom. It is a flexible online section. At that point, if you wanted to register for that class, there are two places you can register from. You can see under EDU C110, there's a register button. You could select that register button, or at the top right, you could select the register now button. If you're registering for multiple sections, you would want to use the register now button. You can see underneath the section information that it now states registered but not started. That means I have successfully registered for the EDU C110 course. If I did not have the course I needed to take planned and I needed to go find that course to add it to my plan for the fall, I would go to that search for courses button on the top right, and I would write in the name of the course I was trying to plan. Here, it's taking me to the course catalog where I can see the name of the course, and I could choose to add the course to plan, or I could even view what sections are available for that course. I can use the filters on the left side of the page to determine which term I'm taking the course in, to make sure that I'm only planning open sections. And I can also, if I was a dual enrollment student or a Jumpstart student, and I wanted to make sure I was taking a section that was set aside specifically for a Jumpstart student, I would go down to the topic code toward the bottom of the left side and select dual enrollment / high school as my topic code. And then when I open up these sections, it will only show me sections based on the filters that I have chosen. And then from here, I could add my section to schedule. And if I go back to the plan and register page, now you can see I actually have a warning under statistics that says I don't meet the prerequisite to take this course. And that will appear if you haven't submitted information to HCC about your SAT scores or your high school GPA, or you haven't done your placement testing that would allow you to register for this course. Sometimes students will see this warning even if they have submitted documentation, because we've entered a waiver for you to be able to register. And that would be visible under that Petitions and Waivers tab. So this student does not have a waiver for Math 138, but they have a waiver for calculus. So if you needed a waiver or needed a clearance, that's when you would contact advising@howardcc.edu. Another way to know what courses to register for would be by looking at your My Progress tab. You would find that under, if you select Student Planning and then My Progress. Here you will see the requirements for the programs or areas of study you have declared at HCC. This student has declared elementary education as well as general studies. Usually, we do have students who have multiple active programs, and advisors will recommend that you pick your primary program to focus on when picking courses. So we're going to be looking at general studies right now for this student. And here you can see when a course has already been planned for the requirement and when a course has not been planned. So if you look here at Arts and Humanities Oral Communication, no course has been planned for that requirement. If you wanted to plan a course for that requirement, you would select that search button under the requirement. This will then take you to the course catalog and will give you a list of courses that meet the requirement. You could use your filter to only see open sections. You could choose how you wanted to have this course, if you wanted it to be a scheduled Zoom or a traditional online course. You could also, you might want to filter by your terms to make sure that it's the right term that you plan to register for. And then another thing that students might want to sort by are to see which courses may have a zero textbook cost. And you would find that under course types and zero textbook course. So then we have filtered the Arts and Humanities Oral Communication course down to options that meet the Arts and Humanities requirement, as well as should have a zero textbook course option. So here we could choose Theater 102, add section to schedule. Here, if for some reason you were going to choose to audit a course, right there where it says grading, you would arrow down and select audit. Most students will select graded because they want credit for the course they are taking. And then you would select add section. And then if we go back to My Progress, after adding Theater 102 to my plan, I'm going to go back to My Progress and look at the General Studies program. And you can now see that Theater 102 has been added to the progress bar under Arts and Humanities Oral Communication. If I then wanted to register for that course, I would go to Student Planning, Plan and Register, go to the correct term, and then I could select the Register Now button. And here I've gotten a warning because I tried to register for Math 138 and it's stating I'm not eligible for that because I don't meet the prerequisite. So Student Planning will warn you or let you know if you aren't eligible for a course you try to register for. And again, if you have questions about eligibility for courses, please reach out to advising. So now you can see here on my calendar plan that Theater 102 is registered for, and this would be considered a scheduled remote or scheduled Zoom section because it has meeting times, but it is not meeting on campus. Once you have finished registering for your classes, if you would like to print a copy of your schedule, here above the calendar view is a print button. It would have your name and ID number. It would show you how many courses you've planned for. Planned is not registered. Enrolled is what shows how many courses you've actually read, courses/credits you've already registered for. Waitlisted would be if you had waitlisted for a course. So down here under schedule details, it'll show you which courses you're actually registered for. So you want to see that is the registered but not started because the semester hasn't begun yet. So it would say registered, not started right now. Planned means you've picked a section, but you haven't registered for it yet. Under the Plan and Register tab, there's other information you can view. One would be the timeline. This will show courses that have been planned for multiple terms. You could add a term if you wanted to add winter to move a course into winter since you don't think you'll take it in the fall or the spring. You could also add the summer term here. You could remove planned courses. This will not remove courses you've scheduled for, but courses you've planned. You could also remove terms by just selecting the X and click remove. Under the Plan and Register feature, you also have advising. Here you would see any notes an advisor has written for you. You also would have either links to the advisor that may have been assigned to you. There are select students who have assigned advisors, or there will be a link to email advising@howardcc.edu. Petitions and waivers would show if you have been granted a petition to register for a specific course, or if you have been granted a waiver to register for a course. Waivers are used in order to waive you out of prerequisites for courses because you have shown us a transcript from another school, you've taken SAT or ACT, or your high school GPA can sometimes waive you out of a prereq for a course. Also in student planning, under academics, you could view your unofficial transcript as well as your grades if you've already completed courses here at HCC. So some students, when they log into self-service, they may have this blue button appear that says register now. This means there are already sections selected for you to register for. So if you select the register button, the course that has and section that has been planned already appears, and you just check that course and then select the register button. And it gives you a message that you have now registered for that course. And you can go to your schedule to view that information. Here you see CMSY 110 was the course we registered for through the Register Now button at the front of self-service.